We are here at Steall Gorge and Waterfall. So this is I think the second biggest waterfall in the country. We're going to go have a quick look at it, but probably more interestingly is a very challenging bridge to get across, which we'll get to in about a kilometre's time. And we'll do some more little videos along the route. But for now, we've just got this nice view out across the Scottish scenery. So this walk is this walk's just 6 kilometres up the road from our youth hostel. At the top of the road, you go along to get to Ben Nevis, and we'll be doing this, and then we'll be heading round the valley to a place called Kinlochleven and doing a little walk around there as well. So we are almost at Steall Falls, the very large waterfall you can see in front of me. Now the map and the board says this takes 40 minutes to walk. I can say with confidence that 25 is more correct. Not too difficult to walk at all, very pleasant actually, nice footpath. But we have the waterfall there, and we have a small cable suspension bridge type setup just over to the side, and that's where we'll be going now to get to the other side of the river to get up close and personal with the waterfall.
We've now got to the suspension bridge, and we have a George on the suspension bridge. George was a bit braver than me. It's gone a bit further out. It's actually quite high up, and it moves quite a lot as well. So that is the suspension bridge, which is the way to get to the other side and get close to the waterfall. George has already done that. And we think the best views of the waterfall are from back from where we've just come actually. So we will be walking back now, seeing the waterfall on our way back. But it's a lovely little walk up here. I would thoroughly recommend it.
So we've just had a very nice time up at the waterfall, and we're just heading back down to the car park now, not too far away. But we have this other nice waterfall here. Very big in its own right. We've got this very interesting path to walk along here, which has been blasted or cut out of the rock. Very interesting. Not quite as slippy as it looks. We have now reached Kinlochleven. Had a very pleasant drive along the coast from Fort William. Now Kinlochleven is at the far end of a loch which goes out into the sea. But it's a very nice place to come because you've got big hills all around, generally good weather, and it is good weather today, and you've got nice hills to go look at to get good views. But the first thing to see though is something called Grey Mare's Waterfall. So a waterfall just down here. Now it might not be as big as the last waterfall, but it's probably a little bit more impressive in a lot of ways. And we'll walk down towards it and see what we can see. And here we have the slightly treacherous walk towards the waterfall. Very interesting doing this. I don't remember doing this before. So I came here around 10 years ago on a field trip for university, but I don't remember this particular walk. Now that's as close as I can get while holding a GoPro, but I'm going to go along this rather treacherous bit of cabling here and I'll get back to you in a moment. And here we are at Grey Mare's Waterfall. A little bit of a rainbow there, but it has just gone. Now you can see that there's this rather adventurous path up the side that I will not be doing. But yeah, really nice. And I'll be heading back along the rather treacherous path to safe ground. We are here at the top of the Grey Mare's Waterfall, as you can just hear it down the way. And we've got this nice view out across Lochleven in the distance. Nice hills to the side. And if I spin round, you've got some power lines, which are a feature of every Scottish location with any decent view. But we're heading up there to that white house there, and then we'll be heading along an old road which goes back towards Fort William. So we are on the old military road heading towards Fort William, and the road's just there. Very popular with hikers now because it forms part of the West Highland Way. But for the time being, we've just got the really nice view here, out and down the loch. So this is the path we're walking along at the moment, and it's a very nice path, nice and easy to walk along most of the time. And we're now just going down to this little bridge down here to have some lunch, and then we'll be deciding if we're brave enough to head up the hill, up there, or if we're going to be going back down the valley, down there. And we'll get back to you when we've made a decision. We are heading up the path, not to the top of the hills in front of us, but rather the top of the sort of plateau up there. Not nearly as high up. The hills in front of us are around 1,000 meters high, whereas the one to the side is around 600. And while we could go to the ones at the top, don't have any particular memories of going up there, whereas I do remember going to the top of that. So that's where I want to go. And we're just wandering up this path, and soon we're going to get to some nice bits of waterfall, and we'll do another little video then. I am now on the top of the plateau, just walking along to the largish mound in front of me. Already getting a really good view down the loch, but just a bit further to go. I'll get to the top of that hill, and then I'll have another look all around the landscape. So I'm just climbing up the last tiny bit of this bit of a hill. There's obviously a lot more around which I'm not going to the top of. I'm choosing not to go all the way up to the top of that hill, for instance, or even the top of the hills on this little plateau. But going to here, got a little cairn, and we've got this wonderful view down the valley. Really, really lovely. So that's the Kinlochleven, which we drove along earlier to get to Kinlochleven at the end. Now that town of Kinlochleven's just down the bottom of the valley there, and that's where we'll be heading back to now. But if I spin round, you get a lovely view of the landscape, bit of sun coming over, and I'll be shortly heading back down there to meet back up with Juliet. So I've just come down the other side of the hill a little bit, just to get a little bit better view of the town. And you can see the town down there in the valley, looking very nice. And you can see the hills in the distance, bit of rain coming in across the hills. You might be able to make out the big hydroelectric power system they have there. And if I swing round, you've got this other wonderful view down the loch. And I'm going to be walking back this way to meet up with Juliet. I'm going to be sort of straight lining it over the hill, so I'll meet up with her about halfway down the path that we both walked up probably. And yeah, really nice day's hiking. Tonight we're staying in a sort of a glamping pod, I suppose. Not quite sure how it's going to be, but it's basically a hut in a youth hostel's garden. But for now, we'll leave you with the brilliant view out up the hill, which we climbed up, and down towards the loch down there. So we are now at our place of rest for the night, and that place of rest is this very nice glamping pod here, which is basically a cylinder with some beds in it, but nicely done. Got a microwave, got a fridge and so on. And we have our dinner cooking here on the barbecue. Took me an absolute age to light the barbecue. I think it had got a touch damp somehow. But nevertheless, it is going now. And shortly we'll be having some nice burgers with a very pleasant-ish view. It's a new and very sunny day here in Kinlochleven, and I'm here having a little walk around on a bridge over one of the rivers here, just looking downriver towards the old aluminium plants which used to produce aluminium here in the past. Now they don't really do it anymore, and it's mainly just hydroelectric power now, but they're very impressive buildings. And I'm now going to be heading into the hills just a little bit to go and have another view down the loch. but we've got some nice views all around, and I'm just going to be doing a short walk today to just have another look at the view. I've now climbed a decent way up the hill overlooking the loch, and I've still got a little bit of a distance to go, but I won't be going up there today. I really just wanted to come up here for the view, and there we have the view down the loch. Really impressive. So I have fond memories of this view from when I was here about 10 years ago, and I just wanted to come back up here and have another look at it, and it is as wonderful as I remember. I'll do a quick spin round so you can see the landscape, and it is very nice. Shame we don't have a bit more time here to explore it. Yep, there once again is the view, and I'll now be heading back down to see Juliet and have a little bit of lunch. So we did a little video of our huts yesterday, but it's a lot better weather now, a lot easier to see things. So this is a campsite here in Kinlochleven. So there's a campsite just behind, there's these huts, and there is the sort of hostel there. And basically these huts are just very simple. You got your cooking area outside where I'm doing some sausages for lunch, and inside you've just got some beds, a microwave and a fridge and a few other little things. So it's not the most luxurious, but it is actually quite pleasant. And when the weather's nice like it is now, it's a very good place to be.
We are now at the Glencoe Visitor Centre in Glencoe, surprisingly. And the sun has come out today for us. We've just had a coffee at the visitor centre and a bit of a snack, and this is what we're here to see. So Glencoe is lovely. You've got loads of mountains, Munros. We're going to go on a little walk. Not up, we're staying on the flat today, and we'll do a few videos as we do.
We are now doing the forest walk here in Glencoe. So we had the nice view which Juliet showed earlier, and now we're just walking down the valley a little bit towards the town of Glencoe on the shores of Loch Leven. And as part of this, we're going to be heading into this very intimidating pine forest and having a walk around there. Now we're going to be heading into the forest, and we'll see you on the other side. We are now here at Invergarden ruins, which are just in front of us. And this is an old ruined house, which was rebuilt in the 1800s and has since been ruined again. But the original house here was built in the 13th century, and this is where part of the Glencoe massacre occurred. Now the Glencoe massacre was perpetrated in the late 1600s by basically the king, who did not like the family here, and he got some soldiers to come and kill a lot of the people, and yeah, very sad. And since then Glen has been relatively empty and has been mainly used for farming ever since. But we're just wandering back up this path towards the visitor centre, when then we'll decide what we want to do next. We're a little bit further up the valley, and we're at the very pretty River Coe. Got a lovely view all around. We've just had a Eurofighter Typhoon fly down the valley. Very impressive. Didn't get too good a view, but it was very good to see what we did. And we're just going to wander around here a little bit more and see what else we can find. We are now a bit further along from the river. We are at the top of a place called Antor, which I believe is just a nice scenic area. I don't think it's got any historical significance, but I'm probably wrong on that. But we'll walk down here to this rock and we'll have a look at what I presume is a view. And there we go, we have a bit of a view. There are a lot of trees around, and I can sort of see why people say don't bother walking up here, because there are a lot of trees. Pity, because if there weren't trees, it'd be a great view. However, it is nicer to walk through the woods, and we're now heading back to the car, and we'll be deciding where to go after this. I'm now at pretty much the top of Glencoe Valley, So we've driven up here. I'm standing in the middle of River Coe, or a part of it at least. And we're now going to be driving back down the valley to the bottom, stopping at a few places, and we'll do probably a few more videos on our way down. And here we have another great view down Glencoe. And if I give a little spin around, you can see the really great landscape that we are in. We're going to continue heading down the hill now, and I think we're going to get some waterfalls and a loch. We are still on our way down the valley, and we've stopped at the Three Sisters viewpoint, which looks at these three rocks here, which is called the Three Sisters, and it's very pretty. We've got the valley down there, and we've got the Three Sisters there in the frame. We are now right at the bottom of the valley and a little bit across to a place called Ballacoolish, and we've got this nice view out across a bit of Loch Leven to a little bridge in the distance, and it's all very pretty. We're almost done for the day, I think. I think we're now going to be heading back to Kinlochleven, having a little bit of a sit down, and then we'll be going down to the pub for a little bit of dinner. And we have now driven back down towards Invercoe and Kinlochleven, and we've got one last view out across the loch. Really, really nice. Sun's going in a bit, and I think the promised rain will be coming soon. Now I've just got to be careful because the tide is rapidly bringing the water in. See it coming here? It's actually going quite quickly, in fact. And yeah, I'll be jogging back to the car now, avoiding the water. And we've got that lovely view for the end of the day.